So it's day 4, come out of hospital. What I wanted to just go through with you now is the information that they've given me about post-op. So I have to refer to my notes, I'm sorry, but I'll try and make it as brief as possible. So basically the pain we talked about in the previous video where I've told you what medications that they've given. The bowel habits we talked about as well, and the Benefiber will help with that. With activity, I'm not allowed to drive for 2 weeks following the surgery. You can have shower but no baths, no strenuous exercise, alternate rest with gentle walking exercise, and you shouldn't lie still in one position for more than 1 or 2 hours. I've actually had no trouble walking around and that sort of thing. It's actually good because it encourages you to heal. So obviously there's no heavy lifting. You've got to continue on with your breathing exercises that were given by the physiotherapist. So I've got to continue on with that. And that's to encourage deep breathing and coughing, if you've got any extra secretion in the lungs. I've been lucky with that. I've got no problems whatsoever. But they said keep continuing to do it anyway. Don't just give up on it. With the wounds, I am going to put a picture up of what my wounds look like. I've got 5 little cuts. They've actually just put like a see-through thing over it, so there's no stitches as such, and they will apparently eventually just fall off. I've just got to keep looking at the wounds and making sure that there's no infection, no pus, anything like that. But up to now it's been, perfect, but I do have to keep my eye on that. The vitamins we discussed. The diet I'm going to go through with you in a second. Now, if you have any symptoms like body temperature after over 38, any redness around the incisions, as I said, discharge from the wounds, persistent vomiting. Now, I only had vomiting the first day. As soon as I put something in my mouth, I felt like vomiting. I've had that twice and that's it. I've never had it since. However, I haven't started eating any pureed food yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go, and I will report to you on that. If I've got any painful pain in the calves or lower legs or redness, that could have something to do with clots, so I've got to report that straight away. But I still have my stockings on, and I still have to do like my rotation of the feet and the exercises that were given by physio for at least another 7 days, they said. And if there's any chest pains or shortness of difficulty breathing when I'm not active, then I have to let them know as well. I do notice when I do my breathing exercises that I do feel a little bit of heaviness in the chest, so that's why it's really important that I continue on with that. Okay, so just going on to the actual, I've sort of summarised what I showed you before about the weeks 1, 2 and 3 post-surgery. In a nutshell, the first 2 to 3 days it was fluid only, which was while I was in hospital. The next 3 weeks is a puree diet. So it's 4 to 5 meals a day, no more than half a cup in each one of those meals. And you have to, don't force the food. You only eat what you can eat. If you can only eat 1 teaspoon, you have to stop. And that's actually happened to me so far with the yogurt and stuff like that. It also has to be blended smooth, no lumps, very important. It says not to eat too much at once. Take 20 to 30 minutes to eat. 1 bite per minute. They say 20 teaspoons over 20 minutes. So basically, place your cutlery down between bites. Don't drink with a meal. So don't drink 30 minutes before you eat, and don't drink 30 minutes, and wait 30 minutes before drinking again. This is really important because otherwise you're going to get full. And you won't eat the actual food that you need to eat, which is more important. Even though you've got to have 2 litres of water per day, that can be cordial, not really tea and coffee and stuff like that. You can count it in, but that's supposed to be minimal. It's more about the water. If the water that you have is too heavy, because when I was first drinking it, I couldn't stomach it, they say to buy alkaline water, or do it at room temperature, or put some lemon in it, or a little bit of apple juice, just a tiny bit, just to take the edge off, because it is actually quite heavy, and that's what I'm struggling with the most, to get this 2 litres of water in per day. the Benefiber we talked about before, and most importantly 50 to 60 grams of protein a day. Now in these notes that they gave me, besides the things, chew thoroughly, do not drink with your meals, all that, avoid high calorie drinks, no carbonated or fizzy drinks. I think that that's just pretty much common sense really. If you're going to have fizzy drinks, it's going to fill you up pretty quickly. Make sure you take your medications when you're supposed to. If you feel discomfort, make sure that you're taking your prescribed anti-reflux medications, Pariet, Somec or Nexium. The Nexium is what I had. Now, you can also have gas as well, obviously, so they tell you what to do, like drink peppermint tea, that sort of thing, because when they actually operate on you, they do fill you up with gas, so that takes a little while, and I think that that's part of the reason why I've got like sharp pains from that as well. Now, looking here, they've got puree diet meal ideas for breakfast, soggy breakfast cereals, for example, half equals 1 Wheat Bix or half a cup of cornflakes or Special K with low-fat milk. You soften the cereal in warm low-fat milk, then sit to a puree consistency. Avoid dried fruit and nuts unless pureed with a blender. Then it talks about porridge, egg, but you can't have egg for 2 weeks after, baked beans, yogurt, and protein drinks meal replacements. So basically what I'm going to stick to is one OptiFast. I'm going to stick to the OptiFast that I was having before. Break it into 2 lots of 100 ml with the Benefiber in it, then have a puree for lunch and a puree for dinner, and then if I want maybe a little bit of yogurt as the 5th thing, because you can have up to 5 a day. Now what's really good about and then they give you some ideas for dinner, pureed meat, chicken, fish, pureed legumes, pureed casseroles, stoups or soups, egg, like I said, you can't have it for a couple of weeks, but it's an option later, tofu, and protein shakes or soups. There are healthy snacks as well, low-fat dairy products, pureed fruit and diet jelly. But adding snacks between meals during the healing phase is a great way to boost nutritional intake, as portions may be very small of main meals. So that's why it's good to have that as well. Then they've given me a protein counter. So they're saying you need to consume at least 50 to 60 grams of protein each day, but 45 grams is okay initially because it's very hard to fit all that in. And then they've got a list here. For example, cottage ricotta cheese, low fat, half a cup is 14 grams of protein. Your actual OptiSlim soup or shake is 17 to 18 grams. Then, your yogurt's 8 to 10 grams, soybeans 14, lentils 9. So they've sort of broken up what prawns, 5 pieces, 6 to 7 grams. So it's a good way of being able to plan your day and make sure that you get them at least that 45 grams in a day. So they've also given some puree recipe ideas, kamara and red lentil soup, chicken and sweet corn soup, tahini, white bean and chicken. So basically that's the food part of it. So if you've got any questions, please by all means let me know.